Hey everybody, Ian Campbell with Mission Suite here. Hope you're doing well. As you can see, I'm back in the garage here for our live videos, and it's feeling pretty good being back here, I will tell you. Yeah, today I actually want to, today what I want to talk about is the number one thing that I like to make sure that all of my clients ask for when they're reviewing CRM solutions. I don't delude myself, right? I know that Mission Suite isn't always the best option for everybody, but as I'm having those conversations with people, I tend to advise people on the different things to talk about, the different things to look for, and different systems to look at, right? Today I had a conversation with somebody who's looking for a CRM for his electronics networking telecommunications company, and he needs a very specific set of inventory management capabilities that we just don't have, right? And so, fortunately, I know the market well enough that I can guide him into some other directions, and I had him go and take a look at some other things. And, maybe Mission Suite will end up being the best option for what he's looking for a CRM market automation, but at the very least, you should be looking at these different things and asking the questions that you need to ask, right? And if you don't know, or if there's things that a CRM doesn't do, you want to know that and make sure that you're able to adjust based on that. So the number one thing that I like to make sure that I ask for, that my clients ask whenever they're looking at a new CRM or marketing automation platform, or anything that's supposed to function as a CRM, the number one thing beyond just does it, what's the pricing model and all the other things that we talk about on these things, but the number one thing that you want to look for when you're evaluating CRM options is how easy is it to get data out of your system, out of the system that you're choosing, so that you can move it into another system if you choose to migrate in a different direction. That is such an important question. I'll give you a perfect example that we're going through right now. Right now, we're moving a client away from a system that was never built to be a CRM. And it's a marketing automation platform, it's an email marketing platform, and it's relatively well known. I'm not going to, as per my usual, I'm not going to name names, but it's a relatively well-known platform, and people tend to, and somewhat recently, relatively speaking, I suppose, they've added a CRM functionality to that platform. And when I say CRM, I use the term loosely, right? Because it doesn't do a lot of things. It tracks things oddly. It doesn't do deal tracking, but it does lead tracking that you can blend into deal tracking. And there's just kind of an odd way that it's all set up. But, again, it wasn't built to be a CRM system. But the biggest issue with this system and the way that they had set this whole thing up is that they do not allow the export capability to move all of your deal notes and all of your contact notes and anything like that. You can't get them out of their system unless you spend money on developing an API. Then you can pull deal notes, but you still can't pull contact notes. So there's no easy way there's no easy way to get your history, your task history, your notes history, anything like that out of their system, but for just going through your whole list and going through and copying and pasting it into an Excel spreadsheet. Any CRM that you use, as you're making decisions with a CRM, if you're going out and looking at different systems, any CRM that you use, the one question that you want to make sure to ask is, if I decide to leave, and if I decide to go and move in and go in a different direction, or if I leave this company and the person who replaces me decides to go in a different direction, if those things happen, then how am I going to get my data out, and what information can I pull out? This one platform that we're working with right now allows for the export of contact data. They do that. But they don't allow for export of deal notes. They don't allow for export of deal titles or anything like that. To do that, you've got to actually spend money on a software developer to build out an API. And that can get pretty expensive. Even with, I've got great guys that give me great prices, and I work a lot with these guys, and I try to promote them and get them. They're the guys at Soaring Tech. Justin, Eric, how are you? And I try to send as many people to them as possible when those things do arise. But I mean, it's a cost that you shouldn't have to incur, because any CRM that you use, anything that you're using as a CRM, if you're putting notes, if you're taking history on any contacts, on any interactions with contacts, you need to be able to get that information out of the system and then ultimately move it into another system. Even if you just keep it on a spreadsheet, doesn't matter. One way or another, you've got to make sure that the system that you choose will allow you to export contacts, contact information, contact history, deals themselves, notes, future tasks, whatever the case might be. You have to make sure that you're able to pull that stuff out, because otherwise you end up with a 50-hour project like we're going through right now, trying to pull that information out manually, and that is just a nightmare, as I'm sure you can imagine. So, number one thing to look for when you're looking at a CRM, beyond just kind of the normal, does it function the way that I want to function, but the number one thing to look for after that is, can I pull my information out? Can I pull activities, history, notes, opportunities, deals, everything? Can I pull all that stuff out of your CRM so that I can ultimately, if I choose to, move it into another one? Because any salesperson any CRM that's worth its salt, any salesperson that's worth their salt is not going to be afraid of answering that question. Because if I keep providing you fantastic service, you're not going to want to leave me anyway, right? So again, it's a hard question, but you want to make sure that you're asking your salespeople those hard questions. You want to make sure that you're asking your vendors those hard questions. So, and that's the key, that's one of the biggest ones that I've come across. Because if you don't, then all that information is either lost or you got to spend a lot of money to pull it out. So anyway, again, Ian Campbell with Mission Suite. I hope you've had a great day, and I hope you have a great 4th of July tomorrow. And I look forward to talking to you again on Thursday. Cheers.